What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingDudes.com and welcome back to another one of our previews. Well, let's go to the big one. Let's go to the main event of this year's Breeders' Cup. Let's go to Saturday, November 2nd, race 8. That's right, race 8 on the card. It will be the Breeders' Cup Classic. Of course, a grade 1 race going a mile and a quarter, $7 million the purse. That is the richest race in the United States. A full field of 14 will contest this year's running of the race. It's truly a sensational race from top to bottom. We're going to talk about them 1 through 14. I'll put it up on the screen now. You can go to the Breeders' Cup website and get this, kind of preview of each horse if you'd like. I got the website up there now. So this is truly just a sensational field. It is an international field mixed in with the United States horses. Sometimes you might see 1 or 2 international horses in recent years try it. Here we've got multiple ones to choose from, and so it just makes for a ton of fun. I'll be honest. Of the 14 Breeders' Cup races this year, this one took me the longest to handicap. It's just it's really tough. This took longer than even some of the juvenile races where you really didn't know a lot about some of the European or international horses coming over. This was just, you could go a ton of different ways. So enough rambling. Let's go through the horses one by one. I'll tell you what I saw. So the number 1 horse that draws the rail here is the number 1 Forever Young. And look, you got to respect this horse quite a bit, right? He's 6 for 7 overall. The only loss did come in the Kentucky Derby. He finished 3rd. He was beaten ahead. It was a total disaster for this horse, and he still almost won. He got out of the gate pathetically. He got way behind. He was in 15th, 16th place up the backside. That's not where this horse wants to be at all. Most of the horses that have come over and have done what he did, they falter big time. They don't make any sort of impact. And then, though, after everything bad that happened to this horse, he turns for home, and it's like he's got a big time shot. I think he's getting ready to win the race, and then all of a sudden Sierra Leone decides to bump this horse, however many times down the stretch, probably costing Forever Young the race, if not for the bad break, if not for all the dirt he had to eat, if not for Sierra Leone. If any one of those things don't happen, maybe he's the winner of the Kentucky Derby, and you're maybe feeling like he should be towards 3-1, 5-2, maybe the favorite in this race, or maybe the second choice just behind City of Troy. Everything went wrong there, but everything has been all good. Other than that, the other 6 races have all been good. He's won everywhere. He's won in Japan. He won in, in Saudi Arabia. He won at Maidan. I mean, he's just won everywhere. What a horse, just a world-class horse. An incredible 3-year-old and a horse that I think is going to be awfully tough to beat here. Draws the rail, but hell, could it be any worse than it was in the Kentucky Derby? As far as trip goes, I don't think so. So I think he'll be fine from the rail, honestly. He's got some tactical speed. I will say that. I mean, we didn't see it in the Derby because, like I said, he didn't get out of the gate, but I think he can just not be on the lead, but I think he could break well and kind of sit the pocket trip. And if he can get something to open up for him, I think he'll come with a nice run. He's a very, very nice horse. The number 2 is Highland Falls. This is a horse that won the Jockey Club Gold Cup last time out by 4 lengths at Saratoga, and he was super impressive. He's kind of a mixed bag. That race was very good. Some of his other ones have just kind of been average. He lost by over 5 to Tappa Trice 2 races back. That's obviously not great. He's lost to Skippy Longstocking 4 races back in the Oakland Handicap. He lost to Newgate 5 races back at Santa Anita. So you're kind of going to have to decide, what is he? You go back and watch the Jockey Club. Nobody ran that day. It was just bad. Arthur's Ride didn't do anything. Tappa Trice didn't do anything. I don't know. It just wasn't a very good race for anybody but Highland Falls. He was fantastic. I don't know if he can do it again. Much tougher assignment. There's no doubt about that. Let's keep going, and let's go to the favorite next. The number 3 is City of Troy. And boy, what a racehorse this horse has been overseas this year. Just like Forever Young. 7 starts, 6 wins. In 6 of the 7 starts, this horse has been sensational. He was not good in his debut this year, but I just draw a line through it. He was just not ready to run that day. He was well beaten, never into it. Other than that, he's been sensational. 3 straight victories in Group 1 company and tough races. His last race was extremely impressive. He's a big time horse. Hey, can he handle the dirt? We got a whole video talking about can he handle it or not. And it's just going to be a question of what wins out from the breeding, the top side with Justify or the bottom side with Together Forever. If it's the bottom side, he's not winning this race. But if Justify can be the one that kind of is prominent in the breeding, then he can get just fine on the dirt, and he'll be really tough. So City of Troy, just a world class horse. I think he'd be like 3 to 5 if they entered him in the turf, but they didn't. They entered him here. We'll see what happens. He is, like I said, world class. Can't say it enough. The number 4 is Mixto. A horse that's a big time long shot in this at 30 to 1. He does have a win over the local track here. He won the Pacific Classic at 22 to 1 last time out. Won by a half length. Really, hadn't done much. Just 2 wins. That win and a maiden win. I would be absolutely shocked if he does much in this one. He seems like a big time long shot. I don't have a lot of interest in him. The number 5, I don't have a lot of interest in either, unfortunately, and that's Senior Buscador. Now, you might say, like, how can you not have interest in him? Look what he did to start the year. Second, only beaten a neck in the Pegasus. Went on to win the Saudi Cup. Went over and ran third in the Dubai World Cup. The problem has been after that. He was sensational in 3 straight races. Fourth in the Pat O'Brien. Look, that was just a prep. No worries there. 5th, beaten 15 lengths last time out in the California Crown. That was not good. What's the form like? I don't know. Like, his works aren't too bad leading up to this, but I just have a hard time taking him to win in this spot. If he returns to his old form, can he hit the board, do something like that? Yeah, I think so, but he's just kind of fallen off, and I don't think he's quite got back yet. That has me a little bit scared of Senior Buscador in this spot. But one of my favorites of all time. Love him. I would love to see him run a top race here. I'm rooting for him to do that. I just, as a handicapper, I don't have a ton of confidence that he can win this race. That's where I'm at with him. The number 6 is Derma Sotagate, and this is a horse that last year came in and got second in the Breeders' Cup Classic after not even racing since the Kentucky Derby of that season. So, 180 days in between races there. Got second and ran fantastic. The problem is he hasn't been very good since. Been in tough races, went over and tried to run in the Saudi. He did run in the Saudi Cup, got 5th, tried the Dubai World Cup, got 6th, well beaten. And then the prep for him last time out, it just wasn't very good either. He was 5th, beaten 8.5. Maybe he's just off form a little bit. I have my doubts that Derma Sotagate is going to show up with a huge effort here. I do not think he'll repeat last year and get second in this race. Another Japanese horse. How about this? 3 out of the first 7 from Japan. And let's talk about the number 7, Ushpa Tesoro. And of course, this is another Japanese horse that's just a very, very good horse. Last year, he came over here and he didn't run very well over here last season. He was at the Breeders' Cup Classic. He did get 5th, beaten 3 1/4. Just didn't have too great of an effort. Of course, last year he won the Dubai World Cup. He won a ton of races, in a row there. Since coming over to the Breeders' Cup, he went back and won a grade 1 in Japan, second only losing by a head to Senior Buscador in the Saudi Cup, second in the Dubai World Cup, and then second in his local prep last time out there in Japan with Derma Sotagate, same race that Derma got 5th in. So, listen, freaking just world-class horse, and he's 12 to 1, and that shows you how good this field is. This is a world-class horse that's won races all over the world. He's 12 to 1, and he's in good form. So, again, it just shows you just how tough and how deep this horse is. Pyrenees, the 8, will be next. Another one that's just kind of an ultimate long shot here. Don't blame him for taking a shot. Second to Highland Falls 2 races back. Second to Highland Falls last time out. Second to Kingsbarn 2 races back. Take a shot at it. Give it a shot. He had won 4 in a row before those 2 losses. Beat Kingsbarn's 3 races back. I don't think the horse can win. big time step up in class here, but look, I think this is a nice one. As far as grade 2, grade 3 type, nice horse. Just don't think it's grade 1 Breeders' Cup Classic type. So not for me in this one. The number 9 is Fierceness, and boy, how good has he been in his last 2 starts. Of course, he was the favorite in the Kentucky Derby, and a horse that at his best has just been sensational. He did no running in the Kentucky Derby. He kind of had a off again, win one, lose one terribly, win one, lose one terribly type situation. He won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last year. It's just in dominant fashion. And his last 2 races have been sensational. So good that he's set up to where if he wins this race, he will no doubt be the horse of the year. He won the Jim Dandy 2 races back, and it's like, okay, that's him. But now can he go win the Travers? He ran probably the best race of his life in the Travers. Just a beast of a race that day. Torpedo Anna did everything she could, just could not catch him. He's going to be awfully tough here at 3-1. Torpedo Anna, yeah, is what I meant to say, is just a beast of a horse. She's 4-5 in the distaff, and Fierceness was still able to beat her in that race. So he's awfully good. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. Maybe he's become consistent. I mean, that's two races in a row up at Saratoga where he's just been fantastic. All right, let's keep going. Number 10 is Tapit Trice. Yes, that's right. Tapit Trice is back. You just kind of laugh. He was kind of an underachiever all year long last season. Won the Bluegrass, which was 4 straight wins for him at the time, and then just didn't do well in the Kentucky Derby, didn't do well in the Belmont. Haskell wasn't very good. Travers just kind of average. Came back this year, had 3 races, looked dominant in the Monmouth Cup, and beat Highland Falls, and then went to the Jockey Club Gold Cup and just didn't run a step. Got beat 6 3/4. Highland Falls was able to win that race. But then last time out in the Woodward, came back, ran okay, won the race, beats Skippy Longstocking and Crouppy. So, it is what it is at this point with this horse. I don't dislike him, but I just don't know that he's this caliber. I think it's one thing to beat Skippy Longstocking and even a Highland Falls. It's another thing to try to beat some of the horses he's got to beat in this spot. So not a lot of interest for me. Let's keep going here. The number 11 is Sierra Leone. This is a horse that's probably been very, very frustrating for bettors. Just, close. He's been really close at a lot of races. Of course, the horse, the winner of the Bluegrass, second, only beating a nose in the Kentucky Derby. And then, third in the Belmont, second in the Jim Dandy, third in the Travers. And I think people have kind of got down on him. I will say this. I did not think he ran well in the Belmont Stakes at all. I thought that was the only race on his past performances up to that point where it's like, you didn't really do it for me. I thought his Jim Dandy and Travers I thought they were excellent. And hear me out on this. He only got beat a length in the Jim Dandy to Fierceness, a horse that's very good. And he only got beat a length and 3/4 to Fierceness and Torpedo Anna in the Travers. He was right there with them. And both times, it was a long ways back to the horse that was behind these 3. So the problem is I don't think he's as good as Fierceness. I don't think he'll ever really beat Fierceness if they both fire their best race. But I think that kind of the good news is with this horse, he's getting better even though he's losing. And I think people will look at him and go, well, he just can't win. He can't finish. I think he's finishing really strong. I just think there's horses ahead of him that are too good. So, look, I can't pick him to win this race, but I do think this is a pretty nice horse, and I think he could hit the board for sure. Let's keep going. Another horse I think is pretty nice, but inconsistent. That's number 12, Arthur's Ride. His win in the Whitney was impressive, and if he can run that kind of race, he can win right here. But I just don't think I shouldn't say that. I just don't know what I'm going to see out of him. Let's put it that way. His race in the Whitney was fantastic. He ran an allowance at Saratoga. Before that was really good, but the Jockey Club Gold Cup was no good. Obviously, just didn't show up. He ran an allowance at Churchill on Derby Day, did nothing. So he's kind of up and down. I think he needs a certain type of trip. I don't love him from the 12 hole, but I do think that means he's just going to go as hard as he can. I'm just a little bit worried about him overall. I don't know if he'll be able to stay the whole trip or not. I do think at Del Mar, it makes him a little more dangerous because speed does tend to hold, but overall, I'm a little bit worried about him, but he's the right price at 15-1. Newgate is the 13 as we go through the last two here. He ran very well off of a layoff last time out. I think, he still got third, though. He did not win. I think he's a nice horse. I don't know that he's this caliber. I think 20-1 is a fair enough price. Maybe he's kind of the horse that can hit the board that not a lot of people are thinking about. I just don't think he's at this class level. But, I do think he's a nice horse. And I do think he's got lower grade ones, grade twos, grade threes with his name on it. Maybe just not this one. And then finally, and I hate this draw, but the number 14 will be next. And this is a horse that has been, just unbeatable in his last 7, but he's been running in marathons on the dirt. And there's just not a lot of horses that can run at this level when running marathons on the dirt. This horse has won by 2 1/4, 11 3/4, 25, 11 1/4, 9 1/4, 22 1/4, and 10. So he's dominated the marathon division. You pat him on the back, give him all the credit in the world, and give him credit for stepping up and giving it a shot here. He's 8-1 on the morning line. His numbers fit. I look back to a race like the Brooklyn that we saw him run at 1 3/8. That's not 1 1/4, obviously, but it's similar-ish. God, he looked good in that race. And I just feel like if he can run like that, he's got a chance here. I hate the post. It's terrible. But I don't know. Maybe he can still work out a trip. The class is going to be tough for him, but this is a really, really nice horse. I can't blame anybody for playing him at 8-1. That's a square price on a horse that's pretty darn good. So, all right, time to make the decision. Time to make the decision on what to do. And boy, it's tough. I'm going to go with a horse. I'm a little surprised I landed on him, but just the more I circled back and forth in this field, the more I thought, you know what? I think he's ready to come win this race. I went with number 1, Forever Young, on top to win the Breeders' Cup Classic. Out of the Japan runners, I do like him the best. I think he is the best horse out of those Japan runners. So I kind of checked that box. I still just don't fully trust that Fierceness is going to show up in a field like this and run his best. So I stayed away from putting him on top. And then it kind of came down to, okay, Forever Young, City of Troy was on the list for sure for me. And then maybe an Arthur's Ride or a Next. I didn't like the post for Next. Arthur's Ride, I feel like that's an all or nothing play. I'm going to have the horse on tickets. I didn't want to bet him to win. So it came down to me between Forever Young and City of Troy, and there's just less question marks around Forever Young. And he's going to be probably double, if not triple, well, probably more double the price. I just felt like that was the way to go. I don't love anything in this race, but I think if we can get Forever Young around those morning line odds or, 6-1, even 5-1, I think it makes sense to give him a shot. I think City of Troy is going to be more like 2-1. And I just feel like Forever Young is the play in the spot. I'm going to play City of Troy and multis, but I'm going to put Forever Young on top and bet Forever Young to win. So my pick for the 2024 Breeders' Cup Classic will be the number 1 Forever Young. All right, guys, that'll do it for our preview of the Breeders' Cup Classic live from Del Mar, Saturday, November 2nd. What a race this is. I took almost 19 minutes to cover it because it's just so damn good. I cannot wait for it. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody, for watching this video. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit subscribe. You really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, good luck if you're playing the Breeders' Cup on Saturday.